Tablespace concepts and definition. We just recently studied how we can manage the table space, what are the benefits, why we need table space, what are other benefits available for this one, how it is when table space is logically mapped with the physical database design. Now in this particular module we will discuss about how we can create the table space, how we can implement the things on the schema, so how we can place the things logically with the help of programming. So creating table space syntax, the statement to create the table space, creating table spacement with the help of SQL, how a user uses the table space, space management in table space, locally managed table spaces, dictionary manage, create undo table spaces, temporary table spaces, default table spaces, and similarly further restrictions as well. So this is our general syntax of the table space. The square bracket shows you optional values that we can use for the table space, and underline value means that we can use one of those one as a important to manage these things were by default values. So if we are not using online, then the table space automatically become online. So create table space, give the name of the table space with all these possible things. These are optional one, and with give the size in the M or GB way, so that we can allow the storage, and the path of the data file as well. So in Windows operating system we can give command, for example, create table space work, data file, give the path where you want to save data file corresponding to this table space with the size 500 M or half GB online. So we can make this one offline as well. If you're not writing online, then definitely it is by default online. Linux operating system point of view, we can give the disk partitions like U01 or a data work 01 dbf, size 500 M online. So that's basically how you can manage Windows and Unix operating system. The next one is how a user going to use the table space. So first user will create the table space. Once the table space is created, who is going to use? So create user username and give the default table space to this user. So we can say identified by password, default table space work, the recently command that we have done in the previous slide. We can say temporary table space temp as well. So sometimes we have multiple temporary table spaces, and we want to assign to a particular user that for this particular main data file table space, the temporary table space must be being used for the temporary work for redo log file purposes. So assigning default role to the user, so we can say that user will be considered as owner. He and she will give grant connect resource to the to this particular user, and similarly we can say grant create table to this user and grant create view to this user. But these are the additional one. So connect resources are basically privileges, whereas create or select or insert delete are basically normally rights available for particular task or something. So this is how we can understand a user assigned to the table space and grant given to the user. So creating user will be the owner of the table space, and giving grant to this user is very important. DBA will manage all these tasks. Now later on, if user have access, user can give grant to many other users for this table space as well. Space management in table space means that table space allocates space in extents. Table spaces can be created to use one of the following two different methods of keeping track of free and used table space. So locally managed table space means extents are managed within the table space via bitmaps. Each bit in the bitmap corresponds to a block or a group of blocks. So that's basically a local managed table space available if we are not assigning any kind of particular size of extent or size of any file or something. We just normally say locally managed table space. So when an extent is allocated or freed for the reuse, the Oracle server changes the bitmap values to show the new status of the block. Similarly, dictionary managed table space means extents are managed by the data dictionary. The Oracle server updates the appropriate tables in the data dictionary whenever an extent is allocated. So through data dictionary, the Oracle is performed these tasks, and we can create a table space with the help of dictionary managed. So how we can create, how we can implement the table space? We can say create table space user data. Same way we give the data file, location of the file with size, and we can write down extend manage local uniform size 128. So uniform size again is optional. So again, it's up to you that how much, how many, how values you're going to be managed. So this normally come up with the experience and various other things we need to study, and you can study also the data Oracle documentation for the tuning, and various options will tell you depending upon how data you are managing, how slow is this one, and the tuning point of view we can adjust the values like 128 or 56 or something like this. Similarly, dictionary managed table space we can write down in this way by using dictionary default storage initial 1 app next 1 MP percentage free. So percentage increase, percentage free is another parameter that is available for the space adjustment of the block, and we will study this one soon in the incoming slides. Undo table space is normally managed to store undo segments, cannot contain any other objects, and are locally managed. So we can create say create undo table space. So this syntax is slightly different. So we can say data file and give the size and location of this one. So this normally use for the extend and management class point of view, the undo table space. Temporary tablespace is very important. Redo log files are managing those tasks, and all our work which is normally performed as a temporary is stored in this table space. And for this table space, normally table space is automatically created during the creation of the database, but we can change, we can drop and create again with this particular command. Like we can say again create temporary table space temp1 data file, and then say extend management local uniform size 4M or something like this. Creating default temporary table space is another way to manage altered database default temporary table space to default temp1. So if the table space you want to change from one to other table space, we can give the default and we can manage the alter statements. We can see these details or default adjustment from data dictionary called database underscore properties. Similarly, we can drop the table space after a new default made available, taken offline, alter to permanent table space.